All right, let's make sure everybody else is in here before it's officially time to get out here. All right, check marks. Give it a second to breathe. Also, and let's do it. All right, welcome in, guys. Welcome in. This is Broncos for Breakfast. I am Nick Kendell, riding solo today because Scott Kennedy is on the way back from the meet and greet, watching an incredible game on the Broncos defeating the 49ers 11-10. And because of me getting up here early today by myself, watching the game before it kicked off today, and a little bit late on creating the stream. I thought I had it ready to go, and I hit record or go, create the stream platform, and I didn't do it. So I'm going to give it a couple seconds to go here while people are seeing that we are getting live. And let's say hello to some people in the chat here real quick. Jay Roper with the fiendish looking devil there. Good morning to you, Jay. Good to see you. I can't tell if it's angry or like sinister happy, but he says that game was insane. 2015 vibes. And Luke Wright in the house as well, saying, good morning, Nick. Good morning to you, Luke. Yeah, make sure you guys are popping in the chat here because like I said, I'm riding solo today. So I'm going to be leaning on you guys a little bit more for the banter and driving the show. So appreciate you, and plenty to talk about. Stuff I want to talk about too. Bama X in here saying, morning Broncos country. Happy Monday. Happy Victory Monday to you and Bama X, man. Take it easy on Vanderbilt. I saw you guys won like 55-3 the other day, the Crimson Tide. So congrats to you guys. You guys are looking good. Kieran Devin coming in here saying hi. Good morning to you. Big E Bronco in the house saying good morning, Nick. Good morning to you, Big E. And like I said earlier, happy Victory Monday to everybody in here. The Denver Broncos are officially 2-1 and tied for first place in the AFC West after last night's game. And everybody in the AFC West, besides the Denver Broncos, dropping the ball and getting a loss. So first off, you have the Raiders losing, which was the only 0-3 team in football, I believe, right now. So shout out to the Las Vegas Raiders and Josh McDaniel. And, real quick, just turn around. People like Rich Eisen, a bunch of these people. Chris Sims, I think, also picking the Raiders to win the West this year. I never got it. Talking about the Raiders before even getting the Broncos, but Raiders 0-3 look like they are dreadful on defense, look like they are dreadful on the offensive line, look like they have dreadful coaching. Believe it or not, a wide receiver and a quarterback are not enough to get it done in the NFL. So Raiders 0-3, and next week's opponent there for Denver, picking up a game in Las Vegas where the Broncos have not won a game, would be big for the Broncos next week to get up 3-1. But we'll see. We got Ryan Rice in the house too saying, let's ride. What's up, Nick? Needed that win. Absolutely needed that win. Broncos have a lot to work on. It was almost a painful game to watch. I feel like, everyone drank their coffee or whatever this morning, but Nick having to watch the Iowa Hawkeyes offense compared to their defense, and now the Broncos turning into the same thing with the offense just inept as hell and the defense balling out. I mean, if you can get the dubs, then you'll take them, but it's driving me a little insane. We also got Big E saying, let's ride as long as the defense can drive. Eventually the offense is going to have to step up. There's no way around that. That was a great defensive performance, but the Broncos had a lot of, and we'll get into the data. Broncos had a lot of things go their way in this one, and to only win 11-10 when a lot of these factors pointed to the Broncos says that a lot to clean up, and it was a game that they were lucky to get that win. Obviously, you're not going to get overlook any losses or any wins. You take what you can get because it's hard to win in the NFL, but Broncos got a lot to clean up. Official Andrew Furmanek coming in saying, good morning, Nick. Let's go Broncos. Good to see you. We got Sisto coming in here saying, I'll take the W over the L any day. Let's ride. Yeah, this is different than the Texans last week because the Texans are a bad team. 49ers are solid, and the Broncos came in and came out with a W. So even though this was an ugly game, it feels a lot better than last week. We got Manuel coming in over on Facebook saying, hello, quick question. Remember y'all saying this would be a good litmus test for our team against a tough team. How should we be feeling? You should be feeling that the defense has a lot of talent, and the coverage and everything that they're doing right now, pushing a lot of the right buttons. And they were doing it without arguably their best player in Justin Simmons, who should be back here in a few weeks. So definitely should feel really good about the defense. And we'll get into that. I'm going to give out some game balls as well. We got Sign G coming in here saying, yo, Nick, the atmosphere of the stadium was crazy. Loved it. Yeah, I'm really jealous of all the Mile High Huddle people that got to enjoy that game there. And everybody was there. It looked like an awesome time, man. And I know 11-10 slogging offense can be painful. A lot of penalties there in the third quarter as well, sticking out to me. But God, to win the game like that was a pretty damn incredible. Kevin Gray, good morning, Nick. A win's a win, but there's a long way to go. Broncos country, let's ride. All that matters right now is 2-1 and a two-game winning streak as well. So let's keep that going. Andrew Lampy coming in here. Good to see you, Andrew. Good morning to you. Always love the picture, the school picture there of your young kid there. Says Solo. Yeah, that's me today. That is the toughest front seven Denver will play all year. People need to relax on the offense. We'll get into it. There's definitely a tough front seven, but you also want to get into it that the 49ers' second best player on their defensive front was out, and Eric Armstead, and the Broncos offensive line and offense in general still, just painful trudging along. But Bosa, obviously a really good player out there. Javon Kinlaw, Fred Warner, awesome player as well. So we'll get into it here. Bradley Conger, they need Russ to run some boots and have him some design rolling out of the pocket. That's where he's at his best. Yeah, definitely some stuff they're going to have to work on there. Stuntman, Broncos Country, let's ride over on Twitch. Good to see you. CC, Morning Nick, and Broncos Country. Got Jesse Fraley. That last drive was the first drive that it looked like Russ wanted to win. He's wanted to win all of them, but I think it's been a little ugly so far. And as Sisto's coming in, ugly is pretty. When you're winning, that's true. Jeremy Sean saying, Morning Nick, missed you yesterday, but didn't miss you attending the game. Yeah, they probably would have lost that one if I was there. Jetty Splash in the house. Good morning. Jake Gerards and Randy Gregory worth every penny so far. It's been amazing. Keep it real, Denver. Say be happy about the win, but no, we have more to work on. Absolutely. And we're going to talk about both. Miguel coming in. Good morning, Nick. I think the offensive line did a good job against that stud defensive line. What do you think? Yeah, let's get into it first. So the Broncos offense, I overall was not super duper impressed with the offensive line, but it was more so to do with the run game than the pass game. Specifically the interior offensive line. I took a screenshot of a couple plays where Garrett Bowles is looking at Lloyd Cushenberry like this. What are you doing? Specifically the interior trio of Dalton Reisner, Lloyd Cushenberry, and I think it was Graham Glasgow out there. I wanted to look this up before I got going, but I was having issues with Game Pass to watch the game again this morning. But I think it was Glasgow there at right guard. Somebody in the chat can correct me if I'm wrong there. But the interior offensive line specifically, I thought was pretty damn rough in the run game. And Lloyd Cushenberry, a few plays where you're just getting blown up in the back of the line, missing twists and stunts. I mean, the interior offensive line has been pretty average at best this year, but even worse in the run game, not getting pushed, not getting a lot of leverage, I guess, or like when the outside zone, when they need to work upfield, it's just not happening right now from those guys, not moving very well. So you want them to be better. I was a little bit disappointed to see Billy Turner out this week with Cam Fleming, who had a struggle game as well. And then we had a comment coming in here from Tim Greenwood saying Bowles back to his old habits. Not good. I thought Bowles had an okay game. I think he had one hold out there, but a couple of the sacks, or one of the sacks specifically, Russell Wilson holds the ball for like 7 seconds in the pocket, and Garrett Bowles beats his guy, and then Russell Wilson steps up and doesn't go anywhere, doesn't get rid of the ball, and then gets sacked. So I thought the offensive line pass protection was just okay, but the run blocking specifically to me, especially with how this defense needs to work, or how the offense needs to work, has not been nearly good enough, not getting enough. Everything is fought. Everything is tough. Every single play for the running backs, when they finally do get to the second level, it's off to the races. They're making big things happen, but it's so much of it is just ramming themselves into a wall right now, specifically, in my opinion, because the interior offensive line has been pretty poor in the run game. So Blank coming in here on Twitch. Good to see you with the robot arm flexed on that one as well. Shane saying, give the offense some time. Yeah, they got to get better, but that's okay. Ryan Rice coming in. That is also a huge rivalry game. Don't you think Russ will look a little nervous? He's settling in. That's a huge win. I don't know if the 49ers are a rivalry game unless you're talking about the Raiders game next week. But we'll see how it plays. And Victor saying tied for first place. That's what matters. Absolutely. And I see a lot of Josie Jewell comments in here as well. We'll get to the defense. I want to keep talking offense first. Benjamin Flores saying, yo, got the dub. Defense is legit. Absolutely. And keep it real saying the guard group is making Kush look bad. They're all making themselves look bad. The interior is not very good right now. I'm sure Scott will really hammer on that when he joins us tomorrow morning. But they've been definitely struggling there in the run game. And talking about the offensive line in general, I think that because of the inability in the run game, and I have the stats here right now, the Broncos averaging, let me see, rushing attempts, 4.6 yard per rush, which is, 3.1 yard per rush. Not going to get it done most of the time. I guess at least it was over 3. Javonte Williams at 3.9 on 15 carries. Melvin Gordon at 2.2 over 26 carries. Not good enough, guys. And I know that was a really good defensive front for the 49ers, but they were missing their best interior player in Eric Armstead, and you're still struggling out there with moving the football. So want to keep an eye on that going forward. Michael coming in here. Excuse me, Michael Ronquillo. Good morning, Nick, on Broncos for Breakfast. Great win, Broncos Country. Let's ride. And keeping it going here on the offense. I thought that because of the struggles of the run game, pretty consistently, getting I want to see the data, but tackled at the line of scrimmage, close to the line of scrimmage, 1 or 2 yards. And then Russell Wilson taking sacks. I mean, how many sacks did the Broncos give up yesterday? And how many of them were because of the offensive line versus Russell Wilson? And I know that, Russell Wilson's Broncos quarterback right now. We all want to be excited about that, but he hasn't looked very good so far. And the thing that's driving me nuts, it's not as much, missing some of the throws, although that's not great, or not moving the ball. But right now, the Broncos, I feel like constantly last week, how many 3rd and 13 plus yard plays did they have in this game, or even 13 plus yards at all plays because of the sacks Russell Wilson is taking right now? Now, yes, you do want him to be greedy on some, but taking a sack to get out of field goal range, taking sacks when, it's 2nd and 6 and now it's 3rd and 13, that kills an offense, especially an offense that needs to be a little bit of balanced to keep the high volume over the middle passing targets. It's never been in Russell Wilson's game on point. And it was a really big issue in this game. So you really want to see the Broncos be a little bit better there. And if Russell Wilson was out there making, chunk plays down the field, constantly getting out of the pocket, 40 plus yard pass plays, hell, it's even say 20 plus yard pass plays, I'd be a little bit more okay with the sacks that Russell Wilson has been taking right now. But that's not happening. He's not. We've had 1 or 2 big plays here and those were huge plays, especially the one to Cortland Sutton when the Broncos were pinned, I think, at their own 6. But right now, the Broncos need to emphasize Russell Wilson protecting the football, protecting the field position, and not taking so many dumb sacks. I mean, we'll just call them as they are. Not good sacks right now from Russell Wilson in that game. Colin Wood in the house saying, good, we won, bad, most everything else. No, there's a lot of good in here. Bama X saying his pocket awareness goes missing in action more often than I'd like. Yeah, he just needs to step forward and escape or whatever. And there were some instances. There was the near sack by Nick Bosa that he escaped and threw it away. There was the obvious tripping that wasn't called. Flag picked up, which just absolutely stupid. But we'll keep getting into, right now, probably we'll go a little bit more into what's up with the offense and Russell Wilson tomorrow when I have Scott also to talk with. Coach Chris saying Russ looks like he's playing too mechanical, not playing his style, too cautious. Yep, absolutely. And some other things here. So let's talk a little positives here on the Broncos on the offensive side of the ball. First off, power at the goal line, and the Broncos run the football with, even sending anything. Calvin Anderson as an extra offensive lineman. Tomlinson's out there, fullbacks out there. They run the ball, and Melvin Gordon doesn't even get touched, I think, on his way to the end zone. That's at the point of attack. When you have especially Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon there, you need to be able to pick up 1 yard by just lining up and playing power football. You don't have to get too cute there. Have your guy beat the other guy helmet on helmet. And that's what the Broncos did there to score their first red zone touchdown this season. So a monkey off our back there on that one. Great on that. So happy to see that happen. Also want to have another shout out here to Cortland Sutton. Cortland Sutton right now is the Broncos offense, in my opinion. He has been making big plays. He's been fighting a lot. He's been out there blocking his butt off as well, and going out there and providing a tone for the offense right now that, as far as the pass catchers go, have been limited, I guess is the way to put it, and have been disappointing to me outside of Cortland Sutton. So Cortland Sutton, hats off to him. I'm going to give Cortland Sutton the only offensive game ball this week because he stood out. Let's pull up the stats here right now. Cortland Sutton on offense, 8 receptions on 10 targets. That's a pretty good ratio there, folks. 97 yards and 12.1 average. So hats off to Cortland Sutton, man. He was about the only thing out there on offense that, in my opinion, was working. I thought Garrett Bowles also had a solid game, but right now, Cortland Sutton, the only game ball for me on offense. He's been showing out. He's been making big plays, and he's been physical out there. I think that there's a lot of, just inherently with how Russell Wilson plays football, a lot of pretty contested throws, tight window throws, and Sutton's going out there and making plays happen when they need to be. I think he had one play that was a drop he could have came up with, but some other big plays as well. So again, Cortland Sutton, man, looking like a number one wide receiver right now, looking like the Broncos' number one wide receiver without a doubt. And hopefully you guys pick them up in fantasy football like we talked about this offseason, because he looks like the dude on the offense right now. And then you have missing in action. We have Shane coming in. Hamler was missing in action. Yeah, Hamler is definitely not 100%. And the fact that he's still having so much issues this season, I'm curious if we're going to see him much at all. 0 targets, according to this. I know there was the deep shot when the Broncos, I think it was an offsides by the 49ers, and they took a shot on him there. But the one here that really stands out to me, Jerry Jeudy, and I know don't want to hype on him too much, and people in the chat here get pretty pissed off at me when I'm harsh on Jeudy, but he's not having good games right now, folks. He's just not playing super well. 2 receptions on 6 targets for 17 yards. I know he's battling back from an injury, and God, they did need him for some space stuff here, but Jerry Jeudy, man, a couple plays over the middle. I know one of them, the ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage. Almost had that one. Not going to fault him too much on that one. The deep one, I couldn't tell if the cornerback had a hand on that one as well. But Jeudy, buddy, I mean, not everything is going to be wide open. You're playing there with Jalen Waddle, Devonta Smith, Henry Ruggs with Tua Tagovailoa, and you have 10 yards of space every time you catch the ball. Jeudy right now needs to get a lot more physical and a lot more nasty, because you are going to have to come up with some contested catches in the NFL. And right now, I thought he's looked a little soft out there. I hate to use that word. And Bam X saying Ward tipped it on that one. It was a good play by Ward, but also Jerry Jeudy go up and make a play. It's been frustrating for me so far for watching Jeudy, because he is so talented and you want him to get better out there. But one of the big questions about Jeudy coming into the league was how physical would he be? Didn't have many contested catches at Alabama because, quite frankly, they didn't need to throw him a lot of contested balls. That's showing in the NFL that it's been a struggle for him in that situation. It's not just, the ball's hitting in his hands. He's got to go out there and attack the football as well, and just not seeing that right now. You got to go out there and contest for those catches. We got some more people coming in here talking to us. We got Ryan Rice saying, this is his last chance. I'm over Jeudy. Don't want to give up on him yet because he's extremely talented. I also saw that Jerry Jeudy, and this will definitely tick off Patrick Smythe after the game, talking about Shannon Sharp eating butt. And that's why his breath stinks. And then he deleted the tweet and said, I'm going to be a big man for that. Jerry Jeudy, get off Twitter. Get off Twitter. Go to the jugs machine. I know that last year, the Broncos front office had a lot of issues with Jeudy getting on Twitter about things like that. And here we have another one here after a win even. So Judy's starting quickly getting on my my poop list here. And Sharp also has something to say about Jeudy. Catch the damn ball is what Sharp said. So definitely want them to be better here going forward. And I know BAMX is going to get at me here. Right now you definitely need him to get better. He's probably still a little sore too, but Judy's got to step up, because at some point this season, they're going to need him. He's going to have to be a dude. Eventually, teams are going to start rolling coverage even more so over to Sutton, because right now he's the only thing that's working in the pass game on offense. That means Jeudy, buddy, step up. And I know that's me being extra tough on him, but your first round pick, and with all these other wide receivers, especially first round, killing it in the NFL right now, Judy's going to have to live up to it. It's just not happening right now. Dave coming in here saying, good morning, Nick. We got Jacob coming in. Everyone needs to catch the damn ball, not just Jeudy. That's true. But Jerry Jeudy, there should be more onus on him to deliver because he's a first round pick and they need him, especially with Tim Patrick going out. And 2 catches on 6 targets is not getting it done. Not even close. Albert Knopper's in the house. Good morning, Nick, coming in here. Eli saying they need to let Russell Wilson run the ball and control everything. That's the only way we're going to start winning and put up points. I think eventually the Broncos are going to look a lot better here with the offense, the way it's functioning and whatnot. But right now it's just discombobulated. And how much of that is on the pass catchers? How much of that is on the offensive line, specifically the run blocking, in my opinion? How much of that is on Nathaniel Hackett? How much of that is on Russell Wilson? 3-game sample size hasn't looked good. This was by far the toughest defense the Broncos have played so far. They scraped out a win. It's been ugly on offense so far, but they are moving the ball some, and they have things to work on, and they came out with a W. I think that's the most important thing here in that one. We also got Dave, Falcons fan, checking in. Good to see you, Dave. Congrats on the win out here in Seattle. Good for you. I'm glad that my guy, Kyle Pitts is finally stepping up here. CC's in the house, and I know we get Timmy P back next year, but I'd be drafting another wide receiver. Hamler so far has shown he's unreliable with injuries. Jeudy just hasn't stacked consistently good games together. Yeah, Broncos need another wide receiver. I think gosh, in hindsight, I know it's something we talked about a bit last year, and you can't be fully ready for injuries, but maybe even wide receiver, round 2 or round 3 last year would have been better than a tight end who's been injured but hasn't seen the field yet, or a edge rusher who maybe was active for the first time this season last night. I'm not sure. That's a Monday morning general managing, I guess. Jamal Killings, good morning, Broncos Country. Baseball score game, but we got the W. It was an Iowa Big Ten West kind of game out there. Ugly, but special teams and defense comes through. Kevin coming in saying Broncos should feel pretty good about the fact that they are in a 2-1 while playing poorly. Yeah, absolutely. They got a lot to work on there. Trap and Dirty says, nice hat collection. Yeah, I got a few more here, but that's easy for me to put up. Mac Dog saying, what up, Mile High Huddle? Good to see you. Hope everybody enjoyed the game yesterday. And let's talk about it here. This is another one here I wanted to get out for. Shout out to special teams. Yeah, special teams. Corliss Waitman, game ball. Alex Singleton on special teams specifically, game ball. Heck of a game by the special teams. The Broncos pretty consistently in this game had the 49ers with poor field position. And I wish I could, if I had the data here, the average starting field position, the Broncos definitely won that in this game. Big reason because of special teams. They had a great game, Carlos Waitman, one of the best punting games we've had in Denver in a couple of years now, in my opinion. And great coverage as well. The guys making out there. It's not just the punters that need to get it done there with the hang time and positioning. You need the defense to get down there and tackle as well. I can only think of 1 or 2 returns where the 49ers had a little bit of space. But overall, pretty damn good game from the defensive, the coverage units out there. And that's what you need to win these games. The margins are so small in the NFL that Shane coming in special teams was great. Margins are so small in the NFL that if you can make a team have to start in, first and 10 from their own 5 versus first and 10 from the 20, that's going to make a huge difference. And we saw it in this game, 2 points because of the starting field position, because of great punting coverage units there. And then the Broncos get the safety off Jimmy Garoppolo doing his best Dan Orlovsky impersonation, getting out of the back of the end zone. Should have been a pick 6, but I guess we'll take the 2 points and getting the ball back there as well. But yeah, special teams, the punt units, the coverage units, hats off, man. They had their best game of the season without a doubt, and really deserve a shout out there. Sunny days with the hearts there and the thumbs up and the coffee. That reminds me, I need to take a coffee sip here. My voice is gonna go here. We're already 22 minutes in. How's that even possible? Let's keep it going here. We got a few other people coming in here. Yeah, keep it real. Say shout out Corliss, folks who wanted Sam Martin. Just one great game there, but we want to keep watching here. Falling Sloth in the house as well. Morning Broncos Country. Hope everyone's starting off their day great. I am, because I'm hanging out with you guys. I do miss Scott, though. Hope he's getting home safe back to Atlanta. Clayton Huron coming in saying, morning Broncos Country. Smash that like button and share, guys. We appreciate it. Jacob coming in here saying we need to have better routes. Okay, it's really starting to slow on me here. I don't know what's going on. Jacob, there we go. Saying we really need better routes. Hackett's pass game plan has been lackluster. With the guys we have in the wide receiver room, we need smarter pass game. Tim Patrick was a huge loss, obviously. Great win. I see growth, but still have a lot to do. Absolutely. And let's get over the defensive side of the ball. First, Heniso coming in saying woot woot win. And a good game from the defense from Clayton Huron to play for sure. Yes, defense, game balls. I think the Broncos actually gave away game balls to the entire defense in this game, but I want to highlight a few people specifically. And the first one here that was just absolutely had an incredible game, as Eddie says here, Surtain. Eddie says Surtain looks like the best cornerback in the NFL. Young Champ Bailey, Patrick Surtain coming off a shoulder injury and looking like that out there. I know we kind of used it as a, give it a little bit of credence and room for Jerry Jeudy coming off the injury, but so is Surtain, and he went out there and had an incredible game. And that's even, playing some off coverage there. The Broncos like to use a lot of match quarters, a cover 6 defense, where it's quarter, half back end. So one cornerback playing off coverage takes a quarter of the field, one safety takes a quarter field, and the other safety takes a half field. And the cornerback on the safety side of the half field plays press. There's your cover 6 in the back end, I guess, in a nutshell. But Surtain out there, off coverage, press coverage, getting it done, pass breakups. I think the average yards of separation when he was targeted was like 1.5, where everybody else in the Broncos defense was like 4 or something like that. So, Surtain is incredible. He is the straw that stirs the drink as far as the Broncos defense goes. Because of him, they can be a lot more aggressive with his side of the field in coverage and roll coverage elsewhere. It's kind of like what we saw at the Rams last couple seasons with Jalen Ramsey as well. But Surtain, absolutely incredible. What more can you even say going out there and playing like that? He was amazing. And yeah, Ryan Ryan saying PS2 is incredible, best player on the team. Yeah, he's been a freaking awesome. Bama X, and I wanted to see more press from PS2 last night, but I think we're keeping his shoulder in mind. I think they were keeping the shoulder in mind. They're also keeping the lack of Justin Simmons behind him in mind, and also how much middle of the field tackling was going to be in this game with Brandon Ayuk, with George Kittle, with Deebo Samuel. You needed to be able to rally to the ball carrier after those short completions happened, because that's the West Coast Kyle Shanahan offense. So definitely, it's been incredible so far from him. EJ in the house, and good morning, Nick. Defense won this game. We just need their offense to get rolling. Special teams. Also, let's not forget the boys in the third phase there. They definitely deserve a shout out there. But yeah, Patrick Surtain was absolutely incredible here. And then we got Andrew Lampy coming in here saying, is Chubb still above? Asking for a friend. Absolutely not. Next game ball for me coming to Bradley Chubb. I think who somebody said here, man, Money Moose, good to see you, Money, saying Chubb has 3 sacks in 3 games, and all of them were big sacks as well. That's what she said. Yeah, no, Bradley Chubb, man, he's been having a great season. Obviously, I think he's off to his best season of his career so far, because it hasn't just been the sacks, it's been the pressures, and it's been the run defense. So absolutely going to be a big season for Bradley Chubb, and he deserves a game ball in this one, as does Randy Gregory. Randy Gregory so far has been an awesome signing for the Broncos, and been playing lights out up there with just the pressure, the twists and stunts. The one that was the Josie Jewell sack, which we'll get to Josie in a second, but the Josie Jewell sack was amazing because you had Randy Gregory on the outside, Bradley Chubb lined up at, I think it was 5 technique, and you had Randy Gregory stunt inside, Bradley Chubb split a double team, get the pressure, and then Jewell clean it up there. But yeah, Bradley Chubb had a hell of a game. He's off to a hell of a start this season, and he's been a number 1 worthy pass rusher, and he's playing himself into some big money this offseason, and that's what you want to see. Maybe he's going to get the tag, but it's been great there from there. Has there been an update on Browning? I haven't heard anything yet on Browning yet, but Broncos luckily have some depth at the edge out there with Cooper, and Benito should be as well. So we'll see how it goes as Baron. Okay, I haven't heard anything yet. We'll hear some more stuff later today. And we got 2 pounds coming in here. Thank you so much, Richard. Gives me a second to breathe. I want to make sure. I really appreciate you guys coming in and supporting me. And if I missed anybody today, sorry about that. I'm running host and producer and color and commentary and everything here. So sending the super chats is obviously super helpful. Also makes it so that way Scott doesn't come in here and rag on me too much, or Chad doesn't tease me too much for not killing it after a win when Scott's not here. So appreciate you so much, Richard, saying thanks for keeping it up. Sololess Monday. Had to come in and celebrate a victory Monday. There's no way I wasn't going to be in here with you guys. I know that sometimes the solo shows are a little bit harder because it's just stream of consciousness the whole time. I don't have time to gather my thoughts while my co-host talks, but really do appreciate that. And again, how many Victory Mondays do we have every year? Hopefully we have, another 14 or so, but we definitely want to appreciate that as much as we can. Yeah, Jay Roper coming in. Chubb has big sacks. He's had some big sacks all season long. Yeah, not unsung hero because I already brought him up, but Jacob says unsung hero Alex Singleton on special teams seems to always be making the tackle there. Yeah, Alex, if he can just play like that on special teams and not have to start on the defense, that would be incredible. And also want to get to the linebackers again. I know that I always say tongue in cheek on this, but the Broncos linebacker play, specifically from Josie Jewell, had a very good game. Now, was Josie Jewell the best player in space, having to guard Deebo Samuel out of the backfield? No, of course not. The only linebacker in the NFL I'd feel okay in that specific situation was on the other side of the field there in, not Bobby Wagner, Fred Warner. That's the only one that I feel like it can be in that situation you feel good about. That's just the reality of the NFL. It's like, I don't know if you guys saw Fairly Odd Parents growing up, but like, here's where my trophy would be. If I had one, there's no linebackers like that in the freaking NFL that are covering Deebo Samuel, wide receivers, one-on-one in space. So, no, man, it's Josie Jewell had a very good game. The fumble recovery where Jimmy G had his hand on it and Josie Jewell dove shoulder first to knock that. I think it was Kyle Juszczyk's legs back to get the football. The tackling in the box, the getting everybody lined up. I don't think it's a shock also that the first game that you have Josie Jewell back, hey, Jonas Griffith's making plays now. He's all over the field. I think having Josie out there as the kind of brains of the center of the defense helped a hell of a lot and is helping Jonas Griffith see the field and not have to think as much also. So Josie Jewell definitely gets a game ball from me. Had a great game, really slowed down that 49ers run defense. Let's pull up the stats here for that 49ers run game here. Um, only 3 rushing first downs in this game. Really good job by the Broncos. But the rushing attacks here, 19 rushes for 4.6 yards per carry. And outside of that big run by Jeff Wilson Jr., that 37-yarder, the run defense was extremely stout. And that's going to bring me to my final, actually 2 more game balls here. Kawan Williams had a hell of a game as well. Playing the slot there. All the Broncos cornerbacks, Darby too. I mean, Darby, Kawan Williams, Patrick Surtain, hat tip to you guys. I know the 49ers don't have the world's best, like down the field kind of threats. They're more of like these special niche kind of yak weapon types. But overall, I thought the cornerbacks had a hell of a game out there, but specifically Kawan Williams. I think he had 4 pass defense or something like that. Hell of a game from Kawan Williams. Let me see. Well, this only says that it was 1, but I felt like he was all over the field with that game. So shout out to Kawan Williams. The final one I wanted to get into here, and it's somebody that I have been harsh on, I guess to say, because last year was not the best for him. But man, he had an awesome game this week. Number 98, big boy, Mike Purcell, getting credited for the safety, having a couple tackles at the line of scrimmage where he just disposed of the interior offensive lineman for the 49ers. Mike Purcell had one of his best games of the last couple seasons out there in this game, and he was a big part of that Broncos run defense up front that had a had a great job. So Mike Purcell, I definitely harsh on him this offseason, coming off injury with his contract and everything like that. But man, Purcell, absolute beast in that game. He has a role. He has to provide that role because he's not providing a lot in the pass rush, but he dominated this game. And if we can keep getting that from him up there as a rotational, 0-1 technique, disdrawing interior offensive lineman at the point of attack, playing 2 gapping up there, freeing up those edge rushers, winning on first and second down, so the edge rushers can pin their ears back, and you can play more exotic fronts to get after the passer. Hat tip, man. Mike Purcell. Also, quick shout out. Also, I thought I've been tough on him this season. Deshaun Williams had his best game of the year also in run defense, but specifically want to shout out to Mike Purcell. He had a awesome game from the Broncos from what I saw. Coach Chris coming in saying, Nick doing a great job. Take a second to breathe. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. $10 too, man. That's really, really nice of you. Coach Chris continues on saying, our defense is stout. Our offense is not looking to press it downfield. I think this will change as everyone gets familiar. A byproduct of not playing in the offseason. I hope so, Coach Chris. But right now, it does look like the offense is a little bit discombobulated, and seems to be it's just not cohesive right now. And I think that if the Broncos, specifically the Broncos interior offensive line, was better at run blocking, a little stronger at the point of attack, then you would see not this be as much of an issue because you'd be working on 3rd and shorts pretty often, but feels like way too often right now. It's, 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9, and then you get a sack or it's, incomplete on the first down, 2-yard run on the second one, and then a sack. But the Broncos are not in many favorable, in this game specifically, not in many favorable positions on 1st and 2nd down, making the 3rd downs way too hard and in danger territory for turnovers and bad plays. So, definitely. And also, more shout outs here coming out here. The defense. This is why I said the entire defense really got a game ball, but PJ Locke did a great job. One of my favorite play of the whole game. I'm going to be honest with this one. Kareem Jackson on that Jeff Wilson run that we talked about earlier. He missed the tackle coming downhill. Oh, and I just unplugged my headphones, but he missed the tackle coming downhill. And was one of the reasons that Jeff Wilson was able to get the second level to get that 37-yard run. But boy, did he make up for it when the interception for Jonas Griffith, seeing Kareem Jackson volleyball the ball in the air and give his defense a chance to come down with that might have been my favorite play of the entire game. Really headsy play by the veteran, and knowing that if you are hitting the ball up there in that situation, there are way more defensive players with eyes on the football than there are offensive players. So what a heads up, gutsy veteran play by Kareem Jackson to knock that one in the air and then have Jonas Griffith come down with the easy interception. I think Jonas Griffith will appreciate that one as well. Dom saying, we love you, Nick. We love you too, Dom. Kayleon saying, yo, good to see you. And if I've missed anybody in here that feels like they should be saying hello to, then make sure you guys are keeping up with the chat there. I'm trying to get to everybody, but juggling way too many balls at once. Bradley Chubb's big sacks, if you will. Benjamin Hayward, Denver's defense is lights out. Yes, it is. It's been a lot of fun out there. Keep it real saying Chubb and Randy rushing on the same side was giving them hell. Yeah, it was. Those two are hell of a good tandem out there and really excited to see them. And shout out to Jerry Roseberg. He got a game ball. Yeah. Shout out to Ejiro Evero out there. And DeMarco Ryan's on the other side of the ball. But man, Ejiro Evero right now saving Nathaniel Hackett's and maybe Russell Wilson's bacon so far this season with incredible defense. And it wasn't just the stopping of the 49ers here. I'm just going to go through some of the data here, so bear with me. Third down, the 49ers, 1 for 10. Third down, 49ers, 1 for 10. That's a winning number there, folks. 10% of the third downs the 49ers converted on. That is terrible. That means that the 49ers moving the ball pretty good on first and second down, but third down bad. Broncos 6 for 19. Again, not the best there. Broncos total plays 70 to 52 over the 49ers. That's amazing. Yards per play, though, woof. Broncos, again, this is why there's so many negative plays. I had a lot of plays, a lot of negative plays. Broncos yards per play, 3.7 yards compared to the 49ers, 5.1. That's not getting it done, folks. But the big number here and the reason the Broncos won the game, turnovers. If you guys followed me at all the last 5 years, you know that I am a fiend for turnovers. That's what wins games as much as anything out there. And the Broncos come away in this game an 11-10 victory, 3 takeaways to 0 giveaways. That's not sustainable every game. That's the reason the Broncos win this game. You're starting field positions better because of that. You're taking points off the board from the 49ers because of that. And you are winning the football game because you win the turnover battle 3-0. And if the 49ers clean that up some, they probably win that game by a lot more, given how much the Broncos offense struggled. And the Broncos offense got a little bit lucky too. We're going to keep it real here on that one. The Broncos, Melvin Gordon, 2 fumbles out there. Not good. It says the Broncos a total of 2 fumbles on the game, both from Melvin Gordon. Melvin, you're going to make it hard for me to stand up for you anymore if you keep fumbling it there. And shout out, Russell Wilson had a terrible game. Russell Wilson's best play of the game, in my opinion, was recovering that fumble where the 49ers would have had an easy scoop and score situation. And it was all on Russell Wilson to come down with that one. And he did. And that's the game right there, folks. They win that one. We got Dave Glassman coming in saying money line and the under. Win-win, baby. Well, congrats, Dave. We appreciate you. we all enjoy you winning some money there. FC Donnelly saying Patrick Surtain is a stud out there. Yeah, it was a lot of studs out there on defense. Henry coming in here saying Russ had options to run and get some first downs himself and was struggling with some throws. Should we be worrying about him? Yes, we should be worrying about Russell Wilson, I think. Not to the point where he's, terrible quarterback, but the Broncos gave up a lot of assets, 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and now a contract that's going to have you tied to him for the next 5 years, 4 to 5 years, and he has looked an average NFL quarterback so far. Part of that is the weaponry. Part of that is the scheme coming together. Part of that is the offensive line, which, again, I keep saying the pass protection I think is okay. A lot of the sacks so far that the Broncos have been giving up have been on Russell Wilson, not on the offensive line. But the run game, the run blocking specifically, not good enough up front, especially in the interior. But Wilson, yeah, not getting rid of the ball in time. A lot of throws that have been not great placement. Also, one of the best things with Russell Wilson coming out was his accuracy down the field. And I feel like he's not really been good about that so far. So I think it's going to get better next week. Luckily, the Broncos have a game. It's a rivalry game. It's a division game. So who knows? But the Raiders' back 7 is absolutely freaking trash. And if the Broncos can't throw the ball against the Raiders next week, then we have real issues here. But this one should be a little bit better next week, hopefully. And Broncos still survive. Russell Wilson making some great plays out there to keep the drives alive. That one shovel pass to Melvin Gordon was gorgeous. So, it's a work in progress right now. Luckily, the defense and the special teams did enough to keep the Broncos in this game when the offense was not getting it done. Jack Crick coming in saying this game was boring. You have not been forged in the trenches of having to watch the Iowa Hawkeyes win against South Dakota State 7-5 with 2 field goals and a safety. Or 7-3, I think. So you know what? If boring is an 11-10 the Broncos win, bore me to death all season, baby. I'll take it. Plenty of things to work on, but if you can win a game against a solid 49ers team, then you take it. Absolutely. And yeah, Jeremy saying Russ jumping on Melvin's first one was a play forgotten, but saved the game. Hence why we were just talking about it. That was one of the biggest plays of the game. No doubt about that. And he was the only one who could have done that. So shout out to him for making that play and holding on to the football. And on the other end, Jimmy Garoppolo had that fumbled snap exchange. He was the first one to touch the ball, dive on it. Josie Jewell comes in, shoulders first and knocks that ball loose and recovers it himself. So difference there in the game, man. It's so close, and that's how fickle games can be sometimes. But is what it is. The Broncos come out with the win. Ryan Rice coming in saying maybe if the offense never meshed because our defense is so good and was really good in training camp. They do so many walkthroughs that I don't think that these ones versus ones scrimmage is going to make or break the offense being able to come together. You should be able to do that without even having to have those scrimmage reps as well. And then with preseason and everything like that. So right now, I think it's a lot of style issues. And I think that Russell Wilson isn't playing great football right now as well. But again, it's very early. I wanted to give him at least 8 weeks, an 8-week sample size before we really get, grand sweeping gestures or understanding, not gestures, but grand sweeping understanding of what this offense is. Because you just play so many different types of opponents. Injuries happen. People kind of figure out what they're doing. So let's give it 8 weeks. When we get to the bye, we can kind of take an overall holistic approach on where the Broncos offense is, what needs to be tweaked and whatnot. Right now, it's not good enough outside of Cortland Sutton, Javonte Williams as well, but not to the same extent as what Cortland Sutton's doing right now. He's a bad man, and he's been the one that has been stepping up so far. For that offense. Really, the only guy who's getting a game ball for me on that offense right now. But definitely have to get better. Michael Hotz coming in here with the $5 over on YouTube. Thank you so much, Michael. This is bragging rights right now because I'm doing this all by myself. Saying it looked like Russell was getting frustrated with the 3 and outs and he started rocketing the ball to receivers. Yeah, that was the drop to Cortland Sutton. I think it was a third down, would have been short of the sticks anyway, but it could have got you in field goal range, and he missed it. You know what? If you can't catch rockets, then you shouldn't be in the NFL. I know Cortland just dropped one, and I've been talking about how good he is, but that's the game, baby. And sometimes you have to throw those ones out there. So want to be better in that regard. Jeremy, it's okay. I was just razzing you a bit. Cly coming in here saying Cortland Sutton looks like Court from 2 years ago, minus that bad drop. Yeah, he had a hell of a game and been the guy for the offense right now. I'm really sad the Broncos don't have Tim Patrick because I think the offense would look significantly better with him. They're just missing a certain level of physicality and aggressiveness, dog mentality from the pass catchers right now. Nobody's really going out there and making, the big, strong plays. I feel like it's a lot of finesse, which with Russell Wilson, sometimes you need a little bit more physicality than the, quick pass, Drew Brees, finesse type of offense. But Cortland Sutton's been out there and been awesome so far this season. Dominique coming in saying thoughts on the Denver defense. New son, by the way. If you have a new kid, if that's what you mean by that, new son, then congrats to you. If you mean it's a new day, then yes, it's the same son, but it's a new day. But yeah, thoughts on the Broncos defense. They were awesome. It starts up front. The defensive line, I thought, had a hell of a game against this 49ers running attack. And I said it, Jimmy Garoppolo, more competent in the pass game, but Trey Lance just gives you so much more you have to prepare for and worry about on every single play with that run defense up front. So him going out of the game, I never was fully bought in on the thought that having Jimmy Garoppolo out there instead of Trey Lance made this game a tougher matchup because what Trey Lance makes you do, even just, having to account for it in the pregame or the pre-week leading up to it for the run fits and protecting the ball and just being disciplined in the rushing lane. So thought the defense looked great. Pretty much everybody stood out. I can't really think of anybody having a bad game. There's a few plays here or there where Josie Jewell got isolated against a wide receiver in coverage. Guess what? That's the NFL. If you get a wide receiver against any linebacker in the league, it's probably going to be bad. There's not even a single Luke Kuechly out here, following Julio Jones 30 yards down the sideline or down the hash mark and making a play on the ball. That's just how it's going to be sometimes. And we have some injury update here from Bama X saying, per Mike Kliss, saying DJ Jones is in concussion protocol and Baron Browning is fine. So that will be that'll be great. To hear that Browning's fine. Hopefully everything's okay with DJ Jones. If he has to take next week off, I think that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, given how freaking horrible the Raiders offensive line is. But we'll see. But yeah, absolutely. And we got a comment coming in here from Keep It Real saying the tight ends have been a no-show. They have been a no-show, I guess, luckily for Denver. The tight end that a lot of people wanted and Trey McBride has had I missed the yesterday's afternoon slate. Did he do anything before week 3? He had one offensive snap so far this season in Trey McBride. So not the best in the world there. I did see Jelani Woods, though, had a big game, I think, for the Chiefs. So We got Tiffany coming in here saying, hello, where is handsome Scott? Hey, now, I'm handsome too. I just got the before morning, glow going right now. My coffee's still kicking in. Where's handsome Scott though? He's flying back from the Mile High Huddle meetup. He was at the game last night with all of the Mile High Huddle guys, and we'll be back tomorrow morning, but out today. So I'm holding down solo here, probably another 10 minutes or so. But we'll keep it down. Where's handsome Scott? I'll have to tell him that you stopped by and said hello. Scott is a good looking guy for sure. Did we get to this one from Michael? We did. Okay, just making sure I didn't miss any super chats. So yeah, guys, those are the overall thoughts on the game. The Broncos defense, I thought, stood tall, had a great one. They're playing a totally opposite team next week where it's going to be much more finesse, not as really good of a run game, and the offensive line much worse than what the 49ers had out there. So the Broncos defensive front should be able to get after it. And what I'm looking forward to, hopefully in this game, God, let's just have an enjoyable game where the Broncos get a lead early and then let the pass rushers work. Because right now, the Broncos pass rush has not been able to really be totally unlocked yet. Now, because of the Broncos run defense and keeping it close in this last game, the Broncos did have a lot of 3rd and 6+ where the pass rushers could get a little bit more exotic in their looks, a little bit more greedy in their rush lanes and get after the quarterback. But it really ratcheted up when it was the end of the game. And, oh, man, Gregory, talk about ratcheting it up. But it really ratcheted up at the end of the game when the 49ers were in a must move the ball period rather than playing to protect the football. We haven't even seen these edge rushers yet playing in a situation where they can, have a 7-point lead and it's, 5 minutes left in the third quarter, or like a 10-point lead, 5 minutes left in the third quarter. And it's a 5-step drop. It's a 7-step drop. Haven't seen that yet. So hopefully there'll be a point next week against the Raiders' anemic defense where you let these pass rushers get a quarter and a half of just pinning their ears back, because that is going to be a lot of fun. Speaking of a lot of fun, Gregory Vanderland, God bless you, Gregory, coming in $49.99. That helps a heck of a lot, man. It's thank you so much for coming in today and supporting us, especially when I'm going solo on the show, holding it down for the Mile High Huddle guys while they lick their enjoyment from yesterday. CC coming in saying Dulcich is solidifying himself as a tight end 1 and he isn't even playing. Yeah, it's rough. They really do need him to play. Need him out there. I think he'll be back. Should be back after the Raiders game, but we'll see how he is. He's missed a lot of offseason too, so I wouldn't be surprised if we hardly saw any Dulcich at all this season, other than some very dump off kind of route things from him. But we'll see. Nick D coming in saying they refused to play Jalen Virgil. Hamler never got open. Hinton never got open. Washington never got open. Yeah, I don't know. They must not think Virgil's ready for this stage yet, but we'll see how it plays out. Luckily, the Broncos special teams coverage has been good, so we're not missing out on Jalen Virgil as a gunner, at least in this week's game. We got Lawrence Rivera coming in too, saying, what's up, guys? All I got to say is 11 points and 10 kicks. I'm heated, but oh well, I expected it. All I see is an 11-10 win there when I see that comment there. So gonna get better, and you got the W. That's what's big. Now we got Taco Tater coming in here saying, how about the bright side? I think this defense is legit. Gregory was an excellent pickup. Gregory was awesome, man. Gregory had a hell of a game. He's had a hell of a 3 games, him and Chubb. I know that everybody was talking, rightfully so, coming into the season, the big bad edge rushing duos. Is it going to be Bosa? Is it Khalil Mack? Is it going to be Chandler Jones and Max Crosby? People probably aren't talking about it yet because the story is the Broncos' offensive ineptitude, but Bradley Chubb and Randy Gregory are playing as good as either of those duos right now. So hopefully it'll be better. And we got a few more people coming in. Game Ball, the punter. Yeah, Corliss Waitman definitely deserves one. And Virgil was injured, wasn't he? I don't think Virgil's injured, but maybe he was. I was backcountry camping fishing this week. And we got Andrew Carpenter saying, speaking doesn't make you intelligent. Well, that's bad news for this show then, because that's all I got. But no, I don't know what you're talking about there, but choose kindness if it's indicated to anybody in the show chat here or myself. But yeah, guys, any final thoughts before we start to wrap it up? My voice is starting to go, and I got things to get on today for this busy Monday morning. Great game. The Broncos defensive front, Josie Jewell being back. The cornerbacks had a hell of a game. And also shout out to the special teams, of course. Alex Singleton and Corliss Waitman had a great game. And finally, Cortland Sutton. Those are the guys that really stand out to me in this one. Had a hell of a game. Who do we need to step up now? Offensive line's got to be better, specifically in the run game. Russell Wilson's got to be better at not taking sacks to take the Broncos in terrible 3rd and long situations or take them out of field goal range. And the other pass catchers got to step up as well. So what a game. What a win. And, wins are hard to come by in the NFL. It wasn't pretty, but that was a damn good team on the other end. So the Broncos were able to come out with the win, 2-1 on the season, above 500, first place in the AFC West. Shout out to the Jacksonville Jaguars, where that London game now, man, that might be a spicy matchup. The Jags look good. So shout out to the Jags for beating up on the Chargers. Shout out to the Colts getting their first win of the season against the Chiefs. And I don't even know who the Raiders played, but just shout out to the Raiders as well, because LOL, only 0-3 team in football right now. You got to love it. I saw Josh McDaniels had to have a private meeting after the game as well. God, you love to see it. You love to see it. It's amazing. Also shout out to the Dolphins. Beating up on Buffalo was incredible. Pretty good week of football. Broncos coming away. Doesn't seem like any serious injuries right now, so we'll see how it goes. But the Titans won yesterday. I don't remember who they beat, but they're not 0-2 anymore. The Titans beat the Raiders. That's right. All the teams that the Raiders have lost to have only won one game this season, and it was against the Raiders. It just couldn't happen to a better team. Too much Raiders talk on here, but no apologies for wins. Tough game. Make sure you guys are following me on Twitter as we wrap up here. I'm at Nick Kendell, MHH. Also follow us at BFB_pod and, of course, at Mile High Huddle. If you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe, like, and share over on Facebook, over on YouTube. And if you haven't done so yet, please head on over to the show. And I got some notes here from Scott. I just checked the notes here. So this is the very end. Stadium was rocking literally. It shook when the 49ers were trying to call plays. Good job, Broncos. Offensive line was a disaster. Wide receiver core outside of Cortland Sutton is a concern. Defense is good enough to win games. Defense played not to lose. Defense plays to win. And Josie Jewell is way underappreciated in Broncos country. He makes a massive difference for that defensive front. You need him out there. So shout out to Josie Jewell as well. Shout out to Scott being at the game and all the Mile High Huddle people. And shout out to you fine folks joining us here today. We appreciate it so much. And you guys have a great rest of your day. We'll see you again tomorrow morning. I'll see you again tomorrow morning. Make sure you tune in again for another Huddle Up show tonight. But until then, make sure you continue to choose kindness and compassion. Have a good Monday. A victory Monday at that. Go Broncos.